Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Rachel and I attempted to potty train my 20-month-old son this past week using the oh crap potty training method, and this video is a very raw and honest look into how that went for us, the end result, and where we're going from here. I will just say, if you're looking for a video that ends in us completely throwing away diapers, this video is not for you, but you'll get a really honest and insightful look into the process and what it looked like, at least for us. First things first, let's discuss why now. Why at 20 months old? The ideal in my mind was originally to wait until he turned 2 years old and do it around his second birthday. But with the arrival of our second baby, I'm currently 29 weeks pregnant with our second baby, I wanted to give it a go before this baby arrives because he's gonna be 23 months old when baby number 2 shows up. So I was like, let's give it a try before then. And then I got to thinking, well, I'm gonna be very big in my third trimester. I'm gonna be not as energetic. So let me give it a try at the very beginning of my third trimester so that we can have a good 2 to 3 months to nail down this potty training before baby comes. I also read the Oh Crap potty training book, which highlights that the ideal time to potty train is between 20 and 30 months, and he just turned 20 months, and I was like, perfect, he's in the window, let's give it a go. I'm also a very type A mom. I like doing things early. My son has historically hit milestones early, so I was like, let's give it a try. But most importantly, every time I would change a diaper of his, especially a poopy diaper where he was, you know, thrashing around and didn't want to be held down, I thought, what if I just potty trained him? And every time I changed a diaper, I couldn't get that thought out of my head, and I knew I wouldn't be able to stop thinking about it unless I gave it a good shot. July 4th weekend comes around, we have a long 3-day weekend, and I was also mentally prepared for it to take into the following week, considering that he's only 20 months old. So let's see how day 1 unfolds. Potty training day 1. I woke up at 5:30 today. I got fully ready for the day. I'm about to make all of our breakfast so that everything is ready to go and I can keep my eyes peeled and like focused on him the entire morning. He normally does a big number 2 within like 20 minutes of waking up. So we are starting off like full force. I think I hear him waking up actually. I'm nervous. I'm excited. He's sometimes cranky in the morning, so I don't know if he's gonna want to sit on the potty, but we're gonna push through. Cheers. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so this is where he eats his breakfast. This is his favorite breakfast, so we're keeping everything the same, and I have this potty right here where he can see it because he's normally ready to go to the bathroom at some point when he's eating breakfast. I have wipes ready to go. I also have this potty here, which is the car potty, but I brought it out here so he can get familiar with it. Off of the living room, we have the playroom. In this room, we have a wipeable mat, so there's no rug in here. This is where we're gonna spend the most of our days. And then we have this bathroom here with a little step stool and this potty seat that overlays on top of any potty. This will also be our travel potty for public restrooms, but I want him to get familiar with it as well. Okay, so I laid down this little picnic blanket. I think it's waterproof. I can always just toss it in the wash. Let's go get him. I'm so nervous. The result of day 1 was that we had 2 poops that were completely on the floor. They came so fast that he didn't realize they were coming. Even though I was right next to him and put him on the potty, none of it made it into the potty. We also had 4 total pees this day, 2 of which made it into the potty halfway through because I picked him up halfway, put him on the potty, and he was able to release and let the rest out, which is a win. This was a very exhausting day, and at the end, he was still very clueless as to when it's happening, which I was surprised about, to be honest. Part of the reason I thought he might be ready for potty training was because he would tell us when he was doing number 2, but what I've realized is there's a huge difference between telling you that they're currently going number 2 or that they just went number 2 and giving you a 3 to 5 second head start, because if you have 5 seconds, you can at least get them on the potty, but if they have absolutely no awareness of when it's coming, it's just impossible to do that because they don't even know. And this is so kid dependent. Some kids may be able to recognize this at an earlier age versus Jesse doesn't seem to be able to. They just slide right out at any moment, and that was honestly very surprising to me. I didn't get too many clips this day because I was just so focused on watching him, and he was running around half naked anyway, but I did record my thoughts at the end of the night. End of day 1. I'm not gonna lie, I want to quit so bad. This has been the longest day of my life. My screen time is the lowest it's ever been in history, and Most of it is the Nana app, which was before he even woke up. I did make some progress in the sense that I learned his pee pattern, and he is a camel, is what the author of the book calls it. He will hold his pee for 2 to 3 hours, so he only peed 4 times today. The first couple of times in the morning didn't make it to the potty. Subsequent 2 pees made it in the potty, but he didn't go and sit on the potty. I picked him up halfway through the pee, and that's how it made it into the potty. So I guess that's considered a win because some pee made it into the potty, and then he pooped twice today. I think he doesn't realize that it's happening, but luckily I was right next to him both times, and I picked him up and put him on the potty halfway through, and then we picked up the part that didn't make it to the potty, and I put it in the potty, and I explained it to him. So I'm just hoping that tomorrow it clicks. If I didn't already clear my schedule, I would definitely quit, I think. But since I cleared my schedule for the next week, I'm like, there's nothing that I need to be doing because I cleared my schedule. So I might as well just keep trying. But I totally get why people wait until they're older. And I totally get why people procrastinate because this sucks. It sucks so much. Another thing that I also didn't realize would play a role is that we want a positive association with the potty. So we need to minimize tantrums, which sometimes means giving in when you normally wouldn't. If it's been a couple of hours and I know he's gonna have to pee soon and I want him to listen to me when I tell him to sit on the potty, I can't have him be throwing an active tantrum. So sometimes that means giving screen time or giving extra snacks when normally you wouldn't. That's been interesting. I didn't think of that. We did screen time today. The book says not to do screen time, but how the heck are people not doing screen time? We did the normal amount of screen time that we normally do, and I was just right there. I was literally just staring at him the whole time. I was not on my phone. So it was just a very, very long day, but the book does say this is going to be the most exhausting day of your life. And he skipped his nap today. My 20-month-old son has been skipping his nap on and off, and today he just never got tired enough. I think just because we've been home all day. Normally we're out and about or he's at school for half day doing stuff. No nap today, so I was just on. It's just mentally, it's challenging. After a good night's sleep, I woke up ready and refreshed and ready to do it all over again. So let's jump into day 2. Good morning, day 2. It's also 4th of July, so I have my USA shirt on. We had a poop and a pee on the floor right here this morning, and then he got either frustrated or overwhelmed by what was happening, and he picked up his potty and threw it. So nothing ended up. The audio on my camera stopped working, but I was saying that he got frustrated and threw the potty across the room. He was either frustrated that he couldn't get it into the potty, or he was just overwhelmed at everything that was going on. And this is me showing you that I covered the living room carpet with waterproof drop cloths, which was much needed because we had several accidents here throughout the weekend. This is me telling you how important it is to have a partner or someone willing to help, even for just a couple of hours, to give you a minute to breathe or do a chore, throw a load of laundry in. At 20 months old, it's constant surveillance and following your kid around with a potty so that it's within 3 feet of them the entire day. With older kids, you might have a few seconds to spare to be able to walk them to the bigger potty that you guys use, but with Jesse and perhaps with other kids around this age, there is 0 seconds to spare. So it's very important to have that small potty within 3 feet of them at all times, and you need to be on guard, not scrolling your phone, just watching their every move so that you can learn their signs and their signals so that hopefully you can get an extra second to recognize when that pee or poop is coming. We went on a family walk after he had a big pee, half of which ended up in the potty, which I considered a win. On the walk, I brought the collapsible potty with us. We offered it to him halfway through and he sat with no resistance, which is also a big win, but nothing came out. When we got home, we had about 5 dribbles throughout the house. I would walk him to his little potty every single time. He started to stop peeing halfway through when he realized he was peeing on the floor, which is major progress. But every time I would sit him on the potty, he would kind of just tense up and wasn't able to release the rest. I do also think this is an awareness thing, a bodily control thing, which definitely improves the older that they get. But he just couldn't release on command and his body was a little bit tense. He did take a nap this day, which leads us into the question of pull-ups. pull-ups or training pants. Should we use them? Should we not? The book that I read, which is Oh Crap, says to use a training pant for naps and nighttime unless you're planning to night train at the same time, which we are not. I decided to go with the Coterie training underwear. So basically with this one, they can practice pulling up and down their training underwear, which is super useful if you have to go out and they're not fully potty trained, or again for naps or sleep time. But Coterie also has something really cool, and I do have a code for you guys because they are partnering with me on today's video, so stay tuned. But they also have the Coterie pant. So this is a hybrid between a standard diaper and the full-blown training underwear. So this they can pull up and down just like the 360, but you can also open it from the side, which comes in so handy if you have a number 2 situation and you don't want to pull down everything with it as an underwear. I like having both options, so I got both, and I recommend that you do the same. Get a box of both and see what you end up preferring. If they've already pooped for the day and you're confident, go ahead and use the training underwear, the 360s. If they haven't yet, but you gotta leave the house, but you still want them to be able to practice at a public restroom, throw on the pant. I think it's so useful to have both, and Coterie is the brand that I trust the most. They are just super clean, dermatologist tested. Everything that they put in here is safe to be on your baby's bottom if your baby has sensitive skin like Jessie does. It's just so important to make sure that we're keeping that area, that sensitive area, free of dyes, fragrances, anything harmful that can cause irritation or diaper rash. Jessie's very prone to diaper rash, so Coterie is the only brand that I trust. I think what they've done is super innovative by having so many different options for whatever works best for your family. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why I love these so much. It's because we're not going to be completely diaperless by the end of this experience, and that's just me being honest and real. And that's the case for a lot of people who attempt potty training. There might be a phase where you're in training underwear, and that is totally okay. So I'll have them linked down below, and you can use my code RACHFIN to get 20% off your first order, which is a huge savings. If you know a mom who's potty training, or if you're not in the potty training stage yet and you're still in the diaper phase, they obviously have the best diapers on the market too. Thank you so much, Coterie, for sponsoring today's video. We also had extremely low TV time today because my husband was home to help me today, which was such a game changer. So again, if you can have your partner home or your mom stop by, or even a friend to just stop by even for an hour or two so that you can just take a breather, give your mind a little bit of a rest, it is such a game changer. But at the end of the night, we wanted to get a big pee out of him before bed, so we had him sit on his little potty and rewarded him with a show for 15 or 20 minutes, which probably isn't conventional good advice to have your toddler in front of the TV, but honestly, he was so cooperative, especially if I gave him a tractor wheel while he sat on the potty, or a snack that he liked, or let him watch a few minutes of screen time while he was sitting on the potty. This was a super effective way to get that positive reinforcement with sitting on the potty. I found that having him sit on the potty at random times and just sitting there for 20 minutes on end never produced a result, because again, he isn't able to go on command. So for him, what was more effective was just waiting until he was starting to pee or starting to poop and then transferring him to the potty. It also becomes very annoying for your child to have to sit on the potty when nothing's coming out. It can be frustrating. So we only did this sparingly. Most of the time we just waited for a pee to come and then walked him to the potty or picked him up if he was farther away. All in all, by the end of day 2, we did see a lot of progress with him learning to stop his pee halfway if he realized he was peeing on the floor. But the bigger problem was with the poops. He just had absolutely no awareness when the poops were coming. And for that reason, I could not see this becoming a situation in the next week or so where he would go diaperless. There are some parents who are totally willing to take the 3 weeks that it would take to get this 20-month-old to a completely diaperless situation, but I was starting to realize that this was not going to be a 3-day method. This was going to be a 3-week method, and not just like a 3-week casual method. This was going to be completely bottomless for 3 weeks before we even introduce pants with no underwear. So we were looking at like a 3-week block 1 based on how this was going. If the child isn't able to recognize when a poop is coming and give you at least a couple of seconds, there's nothing we can really do as parents to help them gain that awareness. And if you're on the go, having a poopy accident is different than having a pee accident. I feel like he would be able to pick up the pees by the end of a few weeks and like go diaperless when it comes to peeing. But with the pooping thing, I just think that is a time thing that that they will get to on their own. And I never want him to feel like he has to stop pooping halfway through if we're on the go. That's just super uncomfortable for anyone to have to do. If he has to really go, I want him to be able to go. And if he can't hold it for at least 30 seconds, like, we're not really gonna be diaperless. Which brings us back to the question of, what does it mean for a child to be ready? We hear this all the time, and there's gonna be a war in the comments of, my child was ready at 18 months and my child wasn't ready until 3.5. So what does it mean for a child to be ready to be potty trained? I think any kid can be considered ready. We just have to ask, ready for what? Ready for which method? Jesse, my 20-month-old, is not ready for the 3-day to 1 week method. He's ready for the 3-week to 3-month method. So then that begs the question, are we ready? As the parents, are we ready for the method that our child is ready for? If that makes sense. Most 2.5-year-olds, from what I've seen on forums and such, are ready for the 3-day method, occasionally extended to a week. The lower you go in age, the longer it takes, is what I'm realizing. And I don't know why I didn't realize this sooner. I think because the book says that between 20 and 30 months, your child is ready. I thought for sure they're ready for the 3-day method, but they're not necessarily ready for that method. They're still ready. It's just gonna take longer. And if you're a parent, you know there's a huge difference between a 20-month-old and a 30-month-old. So to expect both of these ages to be ready for the same method in the same time frame is just bonkers. And I guess that just didn't click to me until I actually saw with my own eyes how unaware my child is of what's going on in his body. And if you have a 20-month-old, 21, 22, 23, don't be discouraged. Every single child is different, and there's a huge difference month to month. As you know, as a parent, from 1 month to the next, they mature so much. So even if you have a 21, 22, 23-month-old, you could give it a shot and they could pick it up in a week and you're diaperless, and that's amazing. So I haven't given up completely at all. I'm still so grateful for this experience. So where are we going from here? Us personally, what we're gonna do, he's currently in a half-day preschool from 8 to 12. I'm gonna send him there in the 360s, which he can pull up and down. His teachers are super amazing. They're gonna have him sit on the potty every so often, practice pulling up and down his training pants. Maybe he'll go on the potty, maybe he won't. At home, we're gonna have diaperless hours whenever we want as a family. So whether that's every weekend morning or every evening from 5 to 7, we're gonna have diaperless hours throughout the week to continue practicing and getting his awareness level up of what's going on in his body. Hopefully by the time he turns 2, which is 4 months from now, he can be pretty much diaperless, but I'm totally removing that expectation, and I'm gonna give him until he's 2.5, which is frankly 6 months plus 4, which is 10 months from now. So because he built such a good foundation right now of a little bit of awareness, in 10 months, by the time he's 2.5, I think this will be a very organic transition for him. It might even happen sooner. I'm just gonna follow his lead. You may ask me, do I regret trying? Do I regret this weekend? Absolutely not. Let's talk about some of the benefits of going through this process. Even if someone looking in might consider it a failure, I do not consider this a failure at all. He gained so much more awareness of at least his P's, and that is huge. That's not going to disappear. That's going to stay with him. And from what I've seen online, a lot of kids will naturally start telling you that they're going to the bathroom or even request to be put on the potty because they've had a little bit of awareness from a younger age. And I think that's amazing. And also by calling it quits in a sense and not putting pressure on him to go completely diaperless, we're keeping the positive association with the potty. If I was just relentless and put too much pressure on him to get it done in a certain amount of time, I could totally see myself getting stressed and him sensing my frustration and then him getting a negative association with the potty, which is the last thing that we want. Hugely, I think I have so much more peace now. I will happily change his diapers until he's fully ready to be potty trained. I'm no longer going to be battling with myself mentally saying, what if? Next time he has a poopy diaper and I'm there changing it, I'm going to change it with a smile on my face because I know what the alternative is. And I know a lot of you watching, because you DM me and you say, how's the potty training going? I have a child Jesse's age and I'm just eager to potty train, and maybe you will learn from my experience or maybe you'll give it a try yourself and see for yourself. But it is a big struggle mentally for parents when we're like, is our kid ready? Should we just do it? Like, it's a constant battle in your head, and I'm just so much more at peace now with where we're at, and that is invaluable. I got emotional at the end of the weekend because we just had such an incredible family bonding time. My screen time was literally almost zero this weekend, and that alone was such an internal reset for me. I spent all day with my son, all day playing with him. Like, I didn't cook, I didn't clean, I didn't do anything. It was beautiful. Yes, it was challenging and frustrating at some moments and exhausting being pregnant, but I started crying at the end of the weekend because it was just such a beautiful time, and it really grounded me and reminded me of what's important. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter at what age I can officially throw away the diapers. What matters is that we're together and that we're all healthy at the moment, and we can just enjoy each other and just be present in the moment. And it was just such a beautiful bonding experience. I feel so much closer to not only Jesse, but also my husband, because the conversations that happen when you're screen free and when you're just like sitting together all day on the floor, just chatting, and it's just so beautiful. So for that alone, I think it's worth it. It's like a huge detox from all of the outside noise, and you can just focus on your little family, and it's really, really beautiful. I asked AJ if he had any perspectives or takeaways from the weekend, and he said that no matter how advanced you think your child might be, just accept that they may not be ready. And again, going back to what does ready mean? Going back to they may not be ready for the method that you want to use, and that's okay. And it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent. It doesn't mean they're slow. It doesn't mean anything. It just means they're not ready for the 3-day method. And if you want to go ahead and take the 3 to 6 weeks it'll take to get your younger child to be completely diaperless, that is amazing. I commend you because I don't have it in me. I don't think it's something I'm willing to do, but there are parents out there who do it. There will be people in this comment section saying that they did it. It did take 3 weeks or whatever, but they did it and it was worth it for them, and that's great. At the end of the day, follow your parental intuition. If you want to give it a try and you just won't sleep at night until you try it, then try it, because it is such a cool experience regardless of what the result is. And both you and your child are going to learn so much. And if you're watching this video and you're like, this was the confirmation I needed to just wait until they're 2.5, then amazing. I'm glad I could save you a weekend of struggle. So whatever you took from this video, you took. I don't know. I'm so curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. And again, let's keep it respectful, because at the end of the day, everybody is so different. What we prioritize is different. What we consider success is so different. And I hope you guys enjoyed and got something from this video. So if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend who's considering potty training soon. And for me, selfishly, I would like to know if you attempted potty training like me around 20 months old, or give or take, and then you took a break and tried it again later when they were 2.5 or so. Was it significantly easier that second time? From what I've seen online, the answer is usually yes. I would love to get confirmation from you guys, because I know there will be people in the comments who have experience. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to check out Coterie down below. I'll have my link and discount code best diapers, best training pants. They also have swim diapers for the summer, and I just love them so much. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.